Welcome, everyone, to the first ever live edition of RMFantasySXperts. I am Chase, joined with my co-host,
Christian. Bear with us. We're figuring this out.
Yeah, but we got it under control. Christian, it's good to be back. It's good to see you sitting here right across from me on this table.
It's been too long.
It has been a very long wait, and we know all the fans out there, all the RMFantasySX Nation, you guys have been patient with us because it's been a pretty long break, but we're excited.
I mean, we were losing hope. I think everybody was losing hope that we'd even be back this season.
Yeah, I think the leaderboard was losing hope. But the best part about it is, here's the best part. The last 7 rounds are taking place right here in Salt Lake City in our very own backyard. Christian, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm excited they're doing it at all. It's just a bonus that it's here right by us. I mean, all the riders are around. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the best part is when the season was normal, people were complaining that, the last round's not in Vegas, Salt Lake City got it. Well, I got news for you. We got 7 rounds now in our backyard, so
it's almost half the season.
Haters gonna hate, I guess. Hey. But as you know, we are live right now on YouTube, which means we want to hear your interaction. If you are watching this, look at the comment section. We want you guys to comment below as we go through and we do this episode. And this is going to go for all the episodes for the rest of the season. We're going to be live the whole year and finish this thing out strong in Salt Lake City. So we want you guys to interact. Comment below. We're going to try and get to as many of your comments as we can as we go through this. But bear with us. There's going to be a lot of you on here. But hey, give us a shout out. Give us your thoughts.
We got Jorge saying hi from Cleveland.
Yep. Jose, what happened? Marvin Muscan, he's not racing this weekend.
No, but he'll be racing in our hearts.
That's right. So. Eric Havel saying, let's go. I love it. Elevation, we'll talk about elevation.
Get to the elevation. The rider 51 is bringing up good points.
We're going to talk about 3 riders in this episode, but you got to remember, tune in, and we'll talk more about the schedule and everything coming up here in a bit. But we're going to do our regular show. Today's show is really just to introduce everyone, get back to it, get everyone excited for our first race coming up on Sunday, and really just explain the schedule and talk about what you can expect, talk about the points so far in the season, and that way everyone's on the same page, well knows what is happening, and there's no question marks, and that way you guys are ready to rock come Sunday. So let's get right into it. Hope you guys have been quarantining correctly by riding your dirt bikes 6 feet apart. Got to do it right, safely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. First of all, Christian, why do people want to play RMFantasySX?
I mean, there's a reason it's been growing every year. I mean, it adds another element to watching Supercross, a sport we all know and love. So, and it adds trash talking, which is my personal favorite. And not to mention, I mean, the thousands of prizes you can win in the meantime. So,
yeah, it is a fun time. Speaking of prizes, well, let's get to point standings so far because Daytona was our last round, and I know a lot of people who are on that leaderboard are probably thinking, what the heck is going on with fantasy right now? Well, let's give them a little update here. So we have got the top 10 up on the board right now. D-Dub-Dub. That guy was probably stressing out mega because he is in the lead.
I couldn't even imagine
Look at
going
that.
this long.
1 point lead over second place. Caitlin in second.
I'm liking Brew Daddy.
Brew Daddy, that is a good name.
That one.
Moto here back there in 10th place, and a lot can change. So those are the top 10 overall so far in the season, but there's still 7 rounds to go. A lot can happen.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. We're picking up right where we left off. Everything's the same, the points, the rules, the everything.
Nothing has changed. But let's just take a look at those grand prizes that are up for grabs from the top 10 leaderboard that we just talked about. As always, race prepped KTM 450 SXF for first place. Factory edition.
I mean, we've had a lot of people come and win that, and every one of them tells us they didn't think they'd ever win it. So I don't want to hear any people talking about you can't win. Get in there. Get your picks in.
Blitz
you always
MX,
have a shot.
You're at 140 points right now. Probably not in the hunt for the grand prizes.
He's catching up to me, though.
Yeah,
he's catching up to me.
What's going on with you? But Blitz, don't worry because there are weekly prizes, too, that we're going to cover. But look at these. We got 2 KTM race bikes, race prep. We got the 2-stroke back this year. I think more people are pumped about that than the 4-stroke.
That's going to be an awesome
We've got
prize.
a VIP Monster Energy Cup trip, which is one of my personal favorites. 4th place is taking home free Dunlop tires for a year.
I mean, how could you be mad about that?
How do you... It's so
nice
good.
one.
Alpine Stars is in the game. We've got a Tusk wheel package and a Honda generator. We've got Fly.
That generator's worth more than its weight in gold right now.
I know. We've got video games and 4K TVs and consoles that we're giving out. We got Motion Pro tool sets, Oakley Spending Spree. Those are just the grand prizes. And then each and every week we do weekly prizes.
Yeah.
And we cover those weekly prizes in the episodes when we're doing the stats and everything. So that's why you want to tune in. That way you can see what's up for grabs. But how many weekly prizes do we give away?
We're giving away 100 weekly prizes every week. 10, physical prizes, and then 90 $10 Rocky Mountain gift cards. No hand sanitizer, MDing.
Yeah,
we're working on that. Maybe use some Tusk brand.
Jacob Jank, I hope I'm saying that right. No, it's not bad if you want to win the 2-stroke instead of the 4-stroke.
I'm wondering if the winners get here and start dealing with each other.
And they're trying to trade and barter what it is. Yeah, definitely, it's a good time. But let's talk about how this is going down because the schedule has definitely changed. The first round, round 11, It almost feels
Salt Lake City
it almost feels
won.
like Salt Lake City. Yeah, the series is starting over again. But first round comes up Sunday. And the important thing to know is that the link in the description will show you the schedule to the actual race schedule for the rest of the year. So make sure you check that out because it's not a set schedule. Every week's going to be, some of the races for some weeks are at the same time, but it kind of bounces around a lot, and it's kind of a time crunch because the good news is that they are going to be showing the last practices from the 250 and 450 qualifiers.
Sounds like they're going to break those down for us.
Yep, and that's going to be on the NBC Sports Gold app that you can watch practice. Ralph Shaheen and Ricky Carmichael, they're going to be doing practice.
Like they were before. So they're just picking up there, too.
So, yeah, it kind of has the same feel, but there is no race day live for the remaining 7 rounds. That is something you want to take note of.
Super bummed about that.
I know. It's kind of bummed. We were talking to Daniel Blair about it. He wishes it was going on, but at least we're going to see some of the practice. That's when we're going to come on is right after the last practice. We're going to come on. We're going to recap practice, kind of talk about what we saw. We're going to have guest callers calling in, and then we're going to go over stats and help you guys make your picks and maximize your points. But the schedule is a little bit different. For example, this Sunday, the races start at 1 o'clock our time here, Mountain Standard Time. So it's 3 o'clock East, 12 o'clock Pacific. So it's really important to know when the races are starting. And there's only about an hour and a half gap from practice to when the races start. So there's not a whole lot of time to get your picks in.
Yep, and that's why we planned it right after practice. You're not going to have a lot of time. We're going to move our show from normally Friday afternoon to right after practice. You can come in here, do it live, ask us questions. We'll bring you all the stats, help you make your picks.
Yeah.
But with the schedule being so short, 2 races a week every 3-4 days, my suggestion is go to the RMFantasySX website, hit that pick reminders button. You'll get an alert 30 minutes before picks close every race. We get busy. Don't get caught with those rollovers.
That's right. Oh, go RMFantasySX.com. We almost forgot to tell you, too, it's free to play.
Yeah, it's free to play.
And if you haven't signed up yet, it's not a big deal because you can still win weekly prizes each and every week. You might not be in the hunt for grand prizes. Not a big deal because, as you will see on Sunday when we do our live show, weekly prizes are killer, too.
Yeah, I see people all the time that signed up that week and they win a weekly prize, so...
Yeah, it's going to be rad. BS stuff, you say you need some new boots. Well, how to? That's pretty easy. Go to RockyMountainATVMC.com. We have a massive selection of all the boots you could ever want. So
some good buyer's guides,
go there
too.
And check it. Yeah, I know a guy who's done some videos on boots that we sell at Rocky Mountain. He might be able to help you out.
He was talking to your boy Brayback about some new ones coming out, too.
He gets it. All right, well, let's talk about it. So we've talked about the schedule. We've talked about that. But let's go over some interesting talking points, Christian. And this is where we want you viewers out there. We want to see your comments because it's about to get dicey. We've got Eli Tomac. We've got Ken Roczen. We've got Cooper Webb. Right now, there is a 3-point gap from Tomac to Roczen. Webb is about a race. He's a little more than a race behind Tomac. There's a lot of people still saying that Webb can do this. It's a long shot, but hey, anything's possible. 7 rounds to go.
It's hard enough to do fantasy in the first place. Now with this gap, you're bringing back a bunch of riders that weren't healthy. You got AC coming back.
Yeah.
Could be on team orders with Tomac.
So, yes, M. Dean AC is back. Benny Blott's going to win. If he's watching this show, he's probably pumped on that.
That'd be freaking sweet.
I was talking to Benny just not too long ago. He's really pumped up. He's been riding a ton.
He's on a streak. He just won the E Supercross, so...
Did he win the E Supercross?
Yeah, he dominated.
Baby Giraffe doing it right. All right. But let's talk about these 3 riders. Remember, if you're watching, we want to hear your thoughts. Tomac and Roczen. Let's just talk about these 2 first.
Yeah.
7 rounds left, Salt Lake City. I hear a lot of people talking about how Tomac has the edge because it's higher elevation. Roczen's actually never raced Salt Lake City on a 450. Tomac, and we remember in 2017 when this man came from about dead last.
The epic comeback on Dungey.
Destroyed everybody. And an 18, excuse me, the last time we had it there, he went down and still got second place.
Yeah.
Roczen's never raced there. What are your current thoughts on this battle right now? Do you think it's too soon to declare a winner just because it's Salt Lake City?
Anything's possible. Plus, there's been talks they might, simplify the tracks and stuff like that. And if they really are doing that, someone that doesn't get the greatest starts like Tomac, I think he might have a hard time catching and passing people if they're simplifying the tracks because they have to change them so much that might, favor Roczen who gets better starts most of the time.
Yeah, I really don't think it favors one rider over. I don't think the elevation thing is really going to be as big of a factor These guys are all in incredible shape.
Yeah.
If we were talking outdoors and you're doing 2 30+ 2-minute motos, might be a little bit different. But I just don't know. I think Tomac, he is a beast. You are absolutely right, BS Stuff. But I think Tomac, maybe has the home crowd advantage, if you want to call it that. Yeah. But Roxon's family or his in-laws actually live in St. George.
I think Roxon has a hometown advantage anywhere he goes.
Utahns love Roxon because he's always down in St. George. So he might feel like this is kind of his home race too.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think it's, honestly, if you ask me, I think it's too early to tell. If for me personally, if I was giving the edge to one of these riders at this very time, and we'll talk about Webb, you got to go with the stats, which is what we talk about on Sunday. Roxon has the best starting average. He's better than Tomac. If Tomac's out in front, he hasn't been caught and passed for the lead and drop this year. But with Salt Lake City, I mean, you have to have good starts, and that's what Roxon's been doing all year long. And Tomac's just banking on having a track that allows him to charge through the pack in most cases and win the race. That's my thoughts. What do you think, though?
I'm going to have to agree with you there. But Roxon, with those starts, and the red plate seems to do things to Tomac. I mean, let's go back to East Rutherford, him and Muscan getting into it.
That's true.
It's just, I don't know. It's going to be.
I feel like he has shown a different side, though, this year.
Yeah.
Remember the race a few races ago? He went down, came back to 4th place after he took Baggett out, all that drama with Barsha. But I think we're seeing a new, let's see. Craig McCoy thinks AC gets a win or maybe 3 this year. I think AC could definitely win a race by the end of the year. I do not see that as doubtful at all.
No.
And look at it. Joe thinks that wouldn't be surprised to see Barsha on the box over Webb.
I wouldn't either, honestly.
Well, Barsha's got some motivation. A lot of you might not know this, but
he still has something to lose.
Barsha has to beat Webb in points. So basically, Barsha's got to get 3rd in points this year to get a re-sign deal with Yamaha. So you think somebody's fired up? Besides Tomac and Roxon, you think the next best rider to think is going to be fired up is going to be Justin Barsha, especially to beat Cooper Webb.
And I wouldn't be surprised if him and Tomac still have a little bad blood going from earlier in the season. I mean, that was some heated stuff. So
it was, but Barsha has to be smart though, because Barsha knows he's got something to lose here. He's not going to throw it away trying to settle what I would say a stupid argument from a previous race, but. You never know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Roxon, Tomac. What about Cooper Webb? What would you... This guy's not through yet.
I just see him as like a pit bull, man. He ain't scared of nothing. He's not going to back down.
Well, here's the thing.
Feels like he can win any race.
I agree. And I feel like Cooper Webb I think he's going to win maybe a couple of these races as we finish out the year. Is he going to win the title? It would take a lot for Tomac and Roxon to choke that bad. But he's going to make life difficult for these two. I hope he does. I hope Webb is making it hard for both of these guys.
He has no reason not to.
Yeah. Tomac sweeps the rest of the series. Come on, Jacob Camp.
That might be the stuff of legend.
That would be. I mean, I have my doubts about that, but that would be pretty epic if Tomac was able to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
What other things have we not talked about that we maybe might want to cover before Sunday's show?
I mean,
is there anything else that we've missed here? What do you guys think? Are we not talking about a certain rider? Is there somebody else who can mix things up, make it difficult for these two?
Anderson, we're not talking about his elevation sickness. We'll get into that more before on the show on Sunday, but
that's true.
He always says he has elevation sickness. He's gone out of here right after the race, but he always does well, it seems like, in Utah.
Yeah.
So
I heard he was trying to get, because there is a pill that you can take that helps with elevation sickness, and I heard he just has to get it approved. Don't know if that's going to happen or not. But the thing is, though, is that he has to stay here for the whole time.
Yeah.
And so hopefully he'll acclimate a little bit better.
Yeah. Hopefully he got here early once the news broke. Starting to get used to it.
I don't know, but we got what's so cool though is I just saw a post that we've got factory TLD and Husqvarna out in Twilla, Utah right now riding a Supercross track. Yep. It's kind of weird to know that we're going to have all the top riders in the world in our backyard for 3 weeks straight. It's kind of a cool feeling to know.
Monster girls are essential. I don't think anybody could really argue that.
So Joe, as far as the track changes, there will be track changes. They're going to change up the track each and every week. Mm-hmm. So that will happen. I don't know how drastic the changes will be, but they are going to be a little bit different. I heard they're leaving the finish line the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not moving the track around it because it's a lot of work to move the towers and all that stuff. It's a lot of
dirt.
But Monster Girls are essential. I love it.
I saw somebody explain to their brother that it's not too late. I mean, we do got to mention, too, that there's still double points round set for the last round.
Okay.
So, I mean, you go on a hot streak. You could do big things even in the grand prizes.
But as far as how this all works, if you've never played before, it's this simple. Go to RMFantasySX.com. You create your free account, and after you sign up, before each round, so picks close every weekend, right before the night show starts.
Yep.
And you make your top 5 picks. Christian and I come to you each and every week before the races. We give you stats on riders. We talk about the tracks. We go back years past, talk about previous races. And we just help you make your picks if you're not quite sure. So that way you feel confident when you make your top 5. And then there's a wild card each and every week. Wild card is anywhere from 6th to last place. And that's honestly probably the hardest and most important pick to get throughout the year.
This week it's 15th, so we had to dig deep, get some good stats.
So we give you stats to help you make the best choice on a wild card rider. And once you make your picks, you sit back, relax, and you watch the races, and you scream for 10th place, which is something that you'd never do before.
Yeah. And
it's amazing.
Look at the Rider 51. He's talking about a short start. The track map I saw actually looked like the length of the field. Yeah, so at least the first race.
Yeah, the first race, the start could change depending on the track layout.
Yeah.
But so we look up here on the screen here. Here is the track layout for you boys and girls out there. So, yeah, that looks like a pretty long start straight.
I mean, it looks decent to me.
Yeah, and this track to me doesn't look very short. You talked about being simple. What is simple, Christian?
I don't know.
Simple to these guys would kill a.
You're hearing it's simple, yeah, but then you look at that, like,
but
the
you know
two rhythm sections look gnarly.
You know what I can't wait for is when they were looking at, I got the 2 rhythm sections, you got 2 whoop sections there. I think it'll be a good racetrack because you've got several 180 turns there. And what I'm excited for, too, is I hope, because I know that the last round, they were going to have the race go outside the stadium like they would in Vegas.
Something like in Vegas.
Maybe they'll do that a couple times now that they have more races and they can change it up a little bit.
It's an option.
It is an option. I think it'll be really good. What's the weather looking like? It is hot, Eric. It is 90 degrees or almost 90 degrees today in Utah. It's going to be over 90 degrees for the weekend. I know some people are stressed out about weather.
Yeah.
But
it's going to be dusty, probably. But.
Well, here's what you need to know, though. We're in Utah, and we could have 90 degrees this weekend, and I'm not kidding you, it could snow in the mountains next week.
Yeah,
and
it changes on a dime.
It does change very quickly. In fact, it just snowed last weekend here. It snowed in the mountains. It was 40 degrees when I came out of my house in the morning, or cooler.
Hailing at my house. My kids were running through the sprinklers like 3 hours later. So.
But
he's asking, can Dean Wilson top 5? I'm looking over Salt Lake 2018. He took 13th.
He took 13th.
2017, he took 10th. But we all know he's top 5 before.
Yeah, but he's having the best season he's had in a while because he stayed healthy and he's riding good.
Yeah, he took 7th in Daytona before we took the break. So he's creeping up there.
Ryan Spiva, he's asking that without crowds causing commotion when things happen on the track, do you think the riders will be more focused? I don't know if they'll be more focused or if they'll feel like it's just different not hearing the crowd scream when they go to pass somebody.
I've heard that they like it because they can tell where something's happening, or sometimes even riders will say the crowd gets loud when Tomac's getting behind them.
Yeah.
So they can tell when people are creeping up on them. I don't know.
So it's going to be different because if you're out in the lead and someone's coming up behind you, I mean, those posters are going to have in the stands ain't going to do nothing for you. So I don't know what I think it's going to be different.
And it's going to be day race. I mean,
it's
going to be bright.
It'll be weird. I don't know. It definitely to these guys is not going to feel the same at all. At least in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, the crowd kind of, I don't know. It's a big part of Supercross, no doubt.
Yeah.
So,
but look, it's going to be fun. Those are our talking points for this show. Like I said, we want to keep it short, just kind of let you guys know what's going on, talk about the schedule, get a few talking points going here on Tomac, Roxon, and Webb, and other riders that might be mixing it up. But remember, free to play. Amazing grand prizes, weekly prizes, 100 of them each and every week. Doesn't matter when you sign up because you can always win those weekly prizes. Ryan Rich, Barsha for the win. You think he could win one?
He's already won this year.
LSA won, but he hasn't podium. Has he podium? He had podium the following weekend, I believe.
Yeah, and then I think he's been out of the top 5. But the second you say he can't, you know he's going to do it.
He could do it. You never know. But remember, click on the link in the description to see the race schedule, get those picks in, and you can click, again, go to RMFantasySX.com. You can click on the calendar notification. We'll let you know that picks are going to be closing shortly, so that way you don't get rollovers.
Yep.
Because, just so you know, even if you have rollover picks and they do really well, you're disqualified for a weekly prize.
Yeah.
So.
And the timestamps mean a lot more right now because this is the longest gap we've ever had in between races. So if you had picks in for Indy, those picks are still there. If you go and update them, you're going to erase a timestamp from months ago.
Yeah. So if you like your picks from Indy, don't change them if you want an early timestamp.
I mean, yeah.
But now the AC's back. I'm sure
AC's,
a lot of people are going to have him
change
swapped
your
out
picks.
for their top 5.
But, man, looking at Barsha, you forget how hot he was.
Yeah.
Look at that. 5 top 5s before the break, including a second in round 9 in Atlanta.
If he pulls a top 2 start and these guys are behind him, I don't see why he doesn't win.
Look at Atlanta, started 11th, finished 2nd.
Yeah. Germ here wants to know, will fatigue come into play because they're only getting a few days off between the races?
It's already the toughest sport in the world. Like, everyone's agreed on that. Now we're just making it twice as hard.
I think they'll be all right, to be honest with you.
I think they'll be all right.
They won't be riding as much, obviously, between the races, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's a workload that these guys can't handle. I think they'll be okay.
No, I mean, it's already extreme. This is just kind of adding a little bit to it. So
Yeah. But Brett Bergstrom, hey, it's great to have you back as well. Thanks for shouting out from South Africa.
Yeah, I didn't know he was reaching that far. That's pretty cool.
What time and day is it over there right now? I don't even know.
He's just waking up in the morning or something.
He's 2 in the morning. He's chatting in live. But hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, we are coming to you live on Sunday. Practice starts at 10:30. You can watch it on NBC Sports Gold app. And if you haven't signed up for that yet, get signed up because that's good for Supercross and outdoors. And then as soon as that is over, 11:30 sharp, we're coming to you live from right here in our studio to give you stats to help you guys out to make your picks.
Yep. Get your questions ready, your predictions. Call us out, whatever. We're doing this whole live thing. I mean, we have the best nation, the SXperts nation, and we want to interact with you guys more. So that's another added bonus here.
And last thing, Dylan Ellis, I have no idea what's happening with outdoors right now. They haven't posted dates yet for the rounds. It's going to be one race or one round shorter, I believe. 11 instead of 12, but that's all we got for now on that. But
before we go, with all the riders in the state, have Martin, your boy, did you offer a place for him to stay with you?
Martin
Did you clear a room? Get that man. We know 7 Deuce Deuce has stayed at your house before.
He has.
Your boy Martin.
There he is.
Did you throw that hand out?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I have reached out to some riders to be a tour guide for mountain bikes.
Hey,
Hey,
need to get back with you on that.
I know they're hurting my feelings, some of them.
You know all those trails.
That's all right.
Well,
I do.
if Trey's here, if anyone knows he needs a place to stay, send him my info. We'll hook that up.
You remember that time you were going to say hi and you wussed out because you were too fanboying?
Well,
you
I
were
saw him.
fanboying too hard and you didn't say hi to Trey Canard.
I saw him at A1 talking to somebody. We locked eyes for a second, and then I just walked off. I didn't know what to say
on
to
your
him.
soul. All right. Well, anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, Sunday, 11:30 sharp, we're going to be back. I am Chase.
I'm Christian.
We'll see you then.